Yo, guys, what's going on? LuckyRave is back again. Okay, to give you guys another Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest live stream discussion slash review. Apologize for the cough, by the way. If anyone was curious from yesterday's stream as to why my voice sounded so low, well, needless to say, on Wednesday, like late Wednesday night, my throat was kind of sore. It's actually a lot worse than I was yesterday. And at first, I had to think like, oh man, like I'd have to save the episode 19 stream for probably episode 20, do like a double live stream discussion, which I don't have any problems with. I actually have fun doing those. But I was noticing how my throat was yesterday, and I was like, well, I can talk, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue. But then, as I was practicing talking before I started doing the stream, I was like, okay, let's do the stream for episode 19, but let's do it in a way where I'm sounding kind of, like where I can still talk. It's just gonna sound kind of low, just for the safety and just for my own health, my throat. But to say the very least, I am sounding better today. It's still, I mean, don't get me wrong. The sore throat is still kind of there, but it's very minor today compared to how it was yesterday. So, and plus, I have a lot of time right now on my hands because, like later on in the day, I'm going to be kind of busy. And I thought to myself, you know what? While the stuff is hot right now with 100 Years Quest, because the anime episode just dropped like recently, like not even just recently, like just today, I thought, well, let me take advantage right now. Let me take advantage of the time I have and talk about episode 20, the latest episode. And again, I talked about this yesterday, um, but it is crazy. It's honestly crazy to even imagine that we are now 20 weeks in to the 100 Years Quest anime. Like, it just feels like yesterday where the anime just started. And now, like, we're 20 weeks in. And, I mean, by the looks of things, it seems like we have, like, maybe either the ballpark I'm hearing is 24, 25. One of those two is, like, the final episode number, which, I mean, I'll dive into that. I will dive into that, like, towards the very end of the stream. But from where we currently are, first of all, I didn't get a chance to properly talk about my whole stuff with Nasha and Grage and like the whole kids thing. Like I talked about it, but because of like my own like voice, I was like, man, I gotta cut this off a little bit. But I'll say this: I love the kids, I really do. And if anything, I briefly touched on it in yesterday's stream, but with Nasha and Grage, okay, is it the Edolas versions of Natsu, of Nalu and Gruvia? Yes, they are, the Edolas counterparts of, those characters. Nasha and Grage are the children of Edolas Nalu and Edolas Gruvia. That is a fact. But what this signifies in terms of the pairings, number one, if anyone had doubt about this, first of all, shame on you. Let me just say that right now. Shame on you, because if you've been a fan of Hiro Mashima since Rave Master, okay, even more so now with Eden Zero, if you're a fan of those two series and you're doubting, like, oh my god, is Nalu gonna be canon? Oh my god, is Groovy gonna be canon? Like episode 19 kind of laid it out flat. Like yeah, sure, in the original series, like you had little teases here and there, but they were more or less kind of like teases. Like we had all that build up, and the conclusion was kind of. And this is what I always say about the conclusion of the original fairy tale manga. Like it felt kind of not empty. That's not the word I want to use here. Not empty, but it felt kind of hollow in some sense. Like it did end, but it also kind of left the door of we can do a sequel. Like it with the whole 100 Years questing, that definitely said, "Yo, we're gonna do we are 100% certain, no pun intended, that a sequel series will probably be coming." And here we are with 100 Years Quest, which, number one, I'll say this because a lot of people want to say that 100 Years Quest, is very much like a Boruto. No. First of all, no. Stop right there. No, it is not. Because let me tell you why. 100 Years Quest still focuses on, our group of characters. It's still focused on Natsu, still focused on Lucy, still focused on Wendy, Urza, Gray. Like all these characters are still like in the limelight. And number two, big key difference here is that Hero is 100% involved in the story. He's the one behind the pen and paper of the writing aspect of 100 Years Quest. The art, however, and I've mentioned this time and time again, is done by Ueda, who has done a phenomenal job with the art style. He's done a phenomenal job. And given that, I'll say this. 100 Years Quest is very much, I will say, like a 1,000 Years Blood War situation with Bleach. And that's kind of where I would take it. It's very much like a 1,000 Years Blood War, or in this case, let's say a One Piece New World situation, or hell, take it another step. Very much, very much like Tokyo Re. It's kind of like that, where it's technically still like it is like one story technically, because, and I know someone's gonna say, well, if you look at the manga volumes, like, you know, you have Fairy Tail span from volumes 1 to volume 63, and the 100 Years Quest that starts all the way back from volume 1. Yes, that is fair. That is accurate. But if you jump from, the end of Fairy Tail and go straight into 100 Years Quest, it'll feel like, you never left. That's the thing. So it is very much like a part two to Fairy Tail. And I'm okay with that. Even though, we've had the 7 year time skip, you had the 1 year time skip after Tartarus. Even though you've had like little instances like that with Fairy Tail, this is very much a part two. Because, you set up the 100 Years Quest already. Like that was already established in the original series. And you end off the original manga with them going on this quest, and here we are. This is a part two. So that's what this is. That's what this is. It's a part two to Fairy Tail. Okay, this ain't no part three. Okay, no, and I'm gonna bet you right now, a part three to Fairy Tail will be. I've got a good feeling that Nasha and Grays, like for our Natsu and Lucy, our Gray and Juvia, they will be focused on sure. But I do kind of feel like that Hero might probably go the more, Kubo approach, where, yeah, the kids are there. Like, if any of y'all have read the one shot for Bleach, then y'all know Ichigo's still focused. Like, the story of the, oh my god, what was it called? Shoot, I'm going to Google this real quick. And I'm doing this on the fly, by the way. I know we haven't even talked about the actual episode itself. Like Jaws from the Depths of Hell or something like that. Like the Hell arc, right? That's what we're calling it. Okay, Echoing Jaws of Hell. Like that's what the arc is called. Is that the Echoing Jaws of Hell? So that one shot, like yes, Ichika and Kazui, they are in the one shot, but they're not like the focal point of the one shot. They're more like supporting characters. And I could totally see Hero going in that direction with, Nasha and Grace for our main group of characters. Like I think it'll still focus mostly on Natsu, Lucy, Gray, Juvia, Urza, Wendy. Like they'll still be there. We'll still have the kids too, but it'll still mostly maintain on our group of characters. Unless, and this is the thing, because we have to keep one thing in mind. If Hero decides to, leave a little breadcrumb, kind of like that's what he did with the original manga. If he decides to do that with 100 Years Quest, and that lead us into part 3, and that warrants us focusing on, say, Nasha and Grage for part 3, and their group of friends, all the power there. But we'll see. But again, that's just my quick little thoughts on something I didn't get a chance to cover in yesterday's stream. And wait, give me just 1 second, guys. I'm getting my phone call. So real quick. Oh, gotta love the phone calls when they when they come in. But having said all of that, for my quick thoughts for the whole offsprings and the whole pairing discussions for Fairy Tale, like Nalu and Groovia, like all of that is going to be set in stone. So people who are still stressed out about that, it's going to happen. And Hero knows that, okay? I've got a whole discussion video that'll be discussing on just that topic alone. So look forward to that. I don't want to delve too much into that, but just know, pairing wise for Fairy Tale, we're set, okay? There's nothing to worry about when it comes to the pairings. It's not like Hero's going to do a last minute bait and switch to where, let's say, Lucy and Gray end up together and Natsu ends up with Juvia. He's not gonna do that, okay? Hero's a much more competent writer, a much more competent mangaka than that, okay? We know that. But that being said, I'm 13 minutes into the stream and I haven't even talked about episode 20 yet. So diving right into where we left off. First of all, I do have to say, we covered 3 chapters for episode 20, much like how we did with last week. So this week we covered chapter 67, 68, and 69. That's 3 chapters. So chapter 67, and I touched on this in yesterday's stream, is titled Aqua Era, which, again, was not a chapter title in, episode for any of the last 3 chapters that were covered for episode 19. Yet episode 19 was titled Aqua Era, right? So, I mean, I get it. It's a minor nitpick, but I just thought that was kind of funny. It's like, you're going with chapter 67's title for episode 19, even though you don't cover that one. Just be poking fun at it, but that is what it is. As far as the manga goes, well, you have this nice, beautiful cover shot of Mystigan with a bird, looking like a real sorcerer. Love it, by the way. But everyone's reacting. They're like, Selene, the moon dragon god, and Natsu opting. It's like, that must be one of the 5 dragon gods. And he's like, oh, oops. And Lucy's like, you can't mention that. And I love that reaction, by the way. As soon as he said that, Natsu was just like, shit. I was not supposed to say that. But Gray goes on to say, we can probably tell our endless counterpart. And Urza's like, can't believe we're hearing that name here. And that kind of gives Mystigan a bit of a question. And, Wendy says, we're on the the trail of that very dragon right now, sir. And Carla's just like, it's a little late for sir. And Happy just being all like hunky dory is like, so you know the Selene person, Mystican? And you have Nightwalker in the back just saying, like, call him your majesty. To which Mystican says only by reputation. And I only know they can move between dimensions. And Nightwalker says, but records say that the existence of that dragon is what foiled the Anima Project. So, and I love that, by the way. See, this is why I love Hunter's Quest, because, things that we kind of got in Fairy Tale that really didn't get so much explanation. Explanation. Like, we knew what the Anima Project did, but we don't really know how the Anima Project came about. And I love that what 100 Years Quest has done has kind of like delved into some of those things, like kind of delved a little bit more into, okay, so how did some of these things come about? And I like that. I think that's really, really cool. So the getting just that right there, that the existence of Selene is what kind of kickstarted the whole Anima Project. That says so much about Edolas. It really does. Lucy goes on to say, I think that the dragon could come here to get their stolen magic, to get back their stolen magic. And, Urza says, is Elentear full of magic like Earthland? Well, Mystican goes on to say, yes, that's why it's called the critical magic world. It's the opposite of my own world. It has so much magic that it overflows. And Lucy continues to say, so it has even more magic than Earthland. Happy says, magic's just so ordinary in our world. I'm not sure what it would mean to have more. And then you have Natsu. You have Natsu just imagining, like, his whole picture of fire. Like, just wielding fire dragon magic in Edolas, okay? He'd have no magic to where having, his base magic in Earthland. And then he's just thinking, like, yo, if I'm an Elentear, I can, breathe fire. I can shoot out fire from my hands and from my feet all at the same time. And Gray's just, or not Gray, it's Gray or, no, it's not Gray. It's Wendy. Wendy's just like, Natsu, what are you imagining? Like, she's totally got that, like, little sister like approach of like, big brother, like, I'm kind of worried. I'm worried about you, in like a very cutesy kind of way. But Gray's just like, huh? Well, what's that thing? And like, it's like an aqua era. So it's a ring of water, is what Lucy points out. And off the gate, Nightwalker just pushes Mystican back. And Toka herself shows up. Happy calls out Toka, and she like embraces him. She's like, "Happy, you're safe. Oh, I'm so glad." And I've been saying this for weeks. Okay, you know how much Cappy loves his felines. Okay, we know this. Okay, we know how much he loves his felines. The second Toka started like gushing over Happy, he's like, "Oh, bro, I got two girlfriends. Woohoo! I got me a Toka. I got me a Carla." And I've been saying this since the whole revelation came that Toka was actually an XC. And I said, look, the second Toka sees, I said Toka. The second Carla sees Toka, like she's gonna be like, bro, hell is she doing? Like rubbing her paws all over Happy, like, and that's what she's doing right now. She's just like, I don't like this chick. Like, I don't like this cat right now. She's hugging all over Happy, and he's excited for that. I should be the only one he gets. I should be the only one he gets excited over. Like, that obviously that's not what she's saying, but that's the expression she has. That jealous girlfriend expression. That is the definition of Carla's face right now, which I thought was hysterical. Nightwalker's like an exceed. Mystican says, well, what was that spell? And, Natsu says, hey, you're feeling better. That's great. And Happy says, but why are you here? To which Grace says, and how are you here? And Toka explains. I use a spell called Aqua Era to connect our world, but I'm afraid all isn't well. And she goes on to explain that she came from a world called Elentear, and she's of the people that are known as Exceeds, obviously. To which Wendy says, Elentear, we were just talking about that place. And Lucy says, so they have Exceeds there too. And Toka says yes, and it might be more accurate to say that I don't come that say not that I come from Elentear, but that I was brought. I think it must have been in Elentear that the White Mage possessed my body. I only just learned that she's a human from that world herself. The mage was able to use my body in combination with the Aqua Era spell to reach Earth. And Carla just asks, but what was she after? To which Toka says, I don't know. Everything, and because she recalls on what um, the mage said, which was, everything I did was to save Elentear, I swear. Our persona when we awoke in Earthland was unstable. One moment it would be me, the next the mage. Our memories were mingled and hazy. But thanks to Wendy, I had returned to normal. When the White Mage awoke, she used an unstable Aqua Era spell to transport you all here. And everyone's like, wait, what? And Happy's like, I get it. Toka and Wendy. So the White Mage, like Happy's like just dozed off to this whole thing, and Lucy's like, don't fall asleep just because a story got too complicated for you. I think her true intention was to send you to Elentear, but she failed, and you wound up here in Edolas. It's the explanation that Toka gives, and Lucy's like, but why would she want to do that? And Toka again goes on to explain. As she was using the spell, she said, Natsu and his friends, they defeated Alderaan. Maybe they can save Elentear too. And Lucy's like, save Elentear. And Natsu is like confused yet annoyed. It's like he's like an annoyed, confused state right now. He's like, man, she didn't even ask if we had the time. And then she messed up. Urza says, not that we don't want to help, but to force the issue. Gray says, you thought the White Mage would just ask nicely? And Carla pulling on Happy's face, like just saying, like, yo, wake up, stupid cat. Is Elentear in trouble? And Toke says, no. When I left, it was quite peaceful. I just don't know what that woman is thinking. And Nods is like, guess one step is to get back to Earthland and give the White Mage the third degree. We can we can bring Nasha too. Yes. I love how Natsu's just like, yo, let's take Nasha with us. And Lucy's like, hell no. We are not taking Nasha. Look, I bet you 100% the day these two end up together, the day they have Nasha, you know that's the dynamic these two are going to have. 110%. I already see it. Like, the stars are written, okay? And Gray's just like, she's she's right. We're only bringing Grays with us. And Lucy, again, just being the focal point, like, with the right sense of mind. Well, that's the correct phrase I want to use here. She's like, we can't bring him either. I'm afraid there are two problems with that, is what Toka says. Which Wendy asks, so what are they? As I told you, the White Mage is here in Edolas. But I can't just leave her be. But I don't know where she is. And continues to say, but the problem is even worse. I can't use magic in Edolas either. I won't be able to use Aqua Era to get us home. And that gets everyone freaking out. And Wendy's like, wait, well, what about Anima? Only a minuscule amount of magic was used to create it. And, Lucy and Happy are crying. They're like, so we're stuck here? I don't know what to do, is what Toka says. And Nightwalker's like, hey, just wait a second. Your Majesty, we have a single X ball left, don't we? And Mexican's just like, Urza, give me some personal space, just please. This is too close. And Natsu's like, X-Ball? Oh, Mystican gave us some the last time we were here. And, okay, it would have been cool to get this in the anime, but we do, because the thing that the manga does is that we get, like, little small, like, flashback panels of, like, these moments from the original manga. And I kind of wish the anime kind of did that too, that when we're talking about these kind of things, that we kind of show like a brief, like, even if it's like a still image, just showcasing that yes, this did these were events that did occur from the manga. So like from the original series. So I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity that we didn't get that. But I mean, beggars can't be choosers, as they say. Yeah, they let the people from Earthland use their magic in Edolas. And Mystican tells, Nightwalker, Urza, go get it for me. And to which he rushes over, and Urza asks, so, like, are you sure about this, Mystican? And he's like, no, there's nothing that makes me happier than having another chance to help you all. I'll ask Fairy Tale to help you search for this White Mage. Their delivery network reaches all over the continent. And you see everyone just like being all happy. Everyone's still kind of searching, and one of the guards is like, "Your Majesty, we have word that Fairy Tale has apprehended someone believed to be the woman in question." And not just like, nice. Gray's like, "Let's get over there." Urza says, "We really appreciate the help, Mystican," and he brings up something that is very true. I never thought I'd see any of you again. I'm overjoyed. It sounds like you've gotten caught up in some pretty deep trouble, but I know you'll come out of it all right. And Lucy's like, we will. Thank you, sir. And he says, give my best to Panther Lily and Master. And Natsu says, take care with a bright smile. And Mystican, of course, smiling back too, saying, you as well. Like, this was great. But goddamn, let me just say right now, I wanted more. Okay, like this is just me talking here. I wanted more of us, like just spending a little bit more time with our Edolas crew. Okay, because I don't know how many of y'all love the Edolas arc. To me, I view that as like an underrated arc because I've seen a lot, not a lot, but there's a good amount of people that say that Edolas is not exactly amazing or like that good of an arc. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? I think it's a really great arc actually. And just seeing the little bit of relevance and just us seeing these characters again, it's really cool. I mean, look, for anyone wondering, like, how many more, like, I would have gone for like one more episode, but I mean, because now in terms of the manga, this is what I will say, okay? So when we look at the manga, I'm gonna briefly touch on this. But if we look um at the volume, which is volume 8, technically speaking, we do spend 4 chapters. So manga wise, you spend at least a good amount in Edolas for like because you for the volume wise, you cover at least what I want to say like you cover 9 chapters, and of those 9 chapters, you like 4 of those are centered on Atlas, which I think is actually pretty good. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry, not 4. You cover 3 of those chapters in Atlas, which is pretty good for the most part. But as far as the anime goes, like adaptation wise, like Doug, you're only covering 2 episodes. That's why I'm saying I would have gone for one more episode of just us being in Netflix. I would have been okay with that. Cover one more episode of us just like chilling here. But I mean, here's the thing though. Fairy Tale's always kind of had this like it's not just Fairy Tale. Hiro Mashima in his storytelling, usually, for the most part, has always kind of been like you know, like you do get character focus, and it's always about the plot too. So you get a good blend of like having like character interactions, but also having it in a way to where you move the plot forward too, which I do like. I do like that from a storyteller. And Hero's always been done a great job at that. Whether it's from Rave Master, whether it's from Eden Zero, the original fairy tale manga, like he's always done a really, really good job at that. Although in the case of the original fairy tale manga, it there might have been some instances where things happen too fast. That is definitely a valid criticism that you could take into account. But for the most part, it's like, well, okay, it's like a double-edged sword. Would you rather things go really, really slow, or would you rather things, you know, be a little bit more engaging and be a little fast-paced to keep it, to keep a steady pace with the story in a way where you do get the character interaction, but you're doing it in a way to where you're also progressing the narrative forward. And look, as much as I would have loved to see more stuff of the Edolas crew again for like another episode, seeing them again was just a delight, though. It really was. But as they're all waving off, Nightwalker tells Urza like, "Hey, like, is there a king in your world?" She's referring to, her Jalal, and she just tells him to treasure him, and Urza says, "Of course." Which I mean, and I talked about this in the episode 18 stream, episode 17, 18 stream, but like Urza and Jalal, like that is already set in stone. Okay, uh, Gajia Levy already set in stone too. Okay, like if you really want to look at it, like as far as like as far as like pairing standings go, like right now, Jalal and Urza are as close to canon as they're going to be. That's the thing. They're as close to canon as they are right now. Only thing you really need is to put them in a room. Only thing you need is to put them in a goddamn room. And then, shoot. Because I know there's that fan art that Hero did of like Urza and Jalal having a son. Like, I don't necessarily know if the son has a name. But if anything, and here's the thing you need to keep in mind. Anytime this man does like illustrations, like sometimes like you could see on the surface that yeah, it's for fun. But there are those like occasions where you're thinking like, hold up. Is this gonna have some story relevancy? And this is something I caught back when the Heroes crossover manga came out because this man drew a cover page of like Lucia, Zareth, Ziggy was there in the corner too, and I remember at the time when it came to that, I was like, okay, Lucia and Zareth I can understand. Why the hell is Ziggy there? Like that did not make any sense to me because at the time in the manga, the whole Ziggy going dark side, you know, that didn't happen at the time. And that was actually pretty close. Like, but when that cover page came out, I want to say like maybe like 3, 4, maybe like 5 weeks in, we got that whole reveal, and I was like, oh my god, like, dude, he was teasing this, okay? And there's actually something else in Eden Zero that happens too in regards to Rebecca. I'm not gonna spoil what it is, but that's that's another thing that I do want to say is that anytime this man does like artwork, keep it in mind because he's subtle like that. And when an author can do that, it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling. You know, we cut over and we see, Endless Wendy, and she's like, "Hey, over here, it's Edo Wendy there," and they see the White Mage, and he's like, "Oh, teleport us around, will you?" And Lucy's just like, "Hey, Natsu, calm down, relax." And you see the White Mage, and she's like, so afraid, like so tensed up. She's like, "I'm sorry, I went a little mad, and Toka just asked, like, so just tell us, who are you? And why did you do this? And oh my god, when she said what she said, I felt a huge sigh of relief. Okay? Because this is something I've known for like ages, okay? And when I came to the fairy tale anime, the 100 Years Quest anime, I kid you not, you have no idea how many times when it came to, her name, let me just go ahead and say it. My name is Ferris, and I come from Elentear. Like, let me just say, and again, God, like I'm rambling on right now, but y'all have no idea how many times, like even like as far back as July when this anime first started, okay, how many times I just wanted to say the name Ferris, and I couldn't because it was a whole plot point. Obviously, like even when it came to the whole like revelation of okay, Toka and the White Mage are like two split personalities. Then you got the whole revelation of okay, Toka's an XE. There were many, many times throughout the anime where I was like Ferris, but I stopped myself. I said, no, don't say Ferris until the moment comes. And now I can finally say it. Ferris. I went to Earthland a few years ago because there was something I wanted. And Urza was like, but that doesn't make any sense. Jalal said you established a white magic cult that's been around in Earthland for more than a century. And Ferris goes on to say, well, that wasn't me. The cult, Rebellious, was once overseen by someone called the White Mage, but they've since disappeared. I seized that position with the power of Whiteout and claimed falsely that I was the White Mage. And now you have Natsu and Happy freaking out. They're like, what? You were never the White Mage after all? So they're still out there somewhere? Little bit of a plot point that I'm not gonna spoil that is gonna get addressed at some point in the anime. I don't know when, but it probably maybe season two. Probably season two if I have to take my best guess. But Ferris continues to say, my mission was to render the magic of Earthland white, to make it void. And Toka asks, but why? To what end? It was all to save Elentear. And Gray's like, you expect us to believe that? And she's like, of course not, but it's the truth. Like, Elentear is crumbling at the hands of the moon dragon god Selene. And that is where we end off chapter 67, by the way. Like, the first third of the episode, uh, actually is where chapter 67 ends off. But in terms of the anime, like, we just, continue forward. And but I didn't give you a chance to talk about this, but the episode title for 20 is called Selene the Moon Dragon God, which is the chapter title for 68. But Ferris continues to say, Elentear has almost the opposite problem from Edolas. It's overloaded with magic. It's like a volcano that's about to erupt. And Toga's like, it didn't feel that way to me. To which Ferris says, like, ordinary people wouldn't know that. But for generations, the women of my family have served as Shrine Maiden to eliminate Elentear's excess magic. And not to the wait, eliminate its magic. You're talking about whiteout, is what Lucy says. And Farrah says, yes. It's said that if whiteout mages in each region don't curtail Elentear's magic several times each year, then the entire place will erupt in a massive explosion. Oh my. Sounds like a real headache. That's between Urza and Gray. And, well, let me just say this. When we delve into the flashback of this, to what Ferris explains, that one day I was visited by a woman calling herself Selene, and you get this whole revelation. I mean, we kind of knew this already because, like, when Selene first showed up, she's like, so, I guess the White Mage didn't exactly work out as things intended. But it doesn't matter because now my grand plan is finally here. Would you be so kind as to eliminate Earthland's magic for me? This is going into the flashback, by the way. And you see Ferris there, and she's just like a bit taken aback, like, wait, what? Why would I do such a thing? The five dragon gods. And she's like, who or what are those? A group of five dragons just like me. She's like, dragons? Indeed. But just because they are all dragon gods doesn't mean they get along. They're dangerous. They must be eliminated. And Ferris, rightfully so, is just confused. She's like, well, why have you come to me then? I've traveled from world to world, but I haven't just come across any magic capable of eliminating magic until I found this one. And you see how Ferris is like just, literally like set in the corner. She's like, but this has nothing to do with us. It has a great deal to do with you. As long as the other dragon gods exist in Earthland, I can't relax enough for even a nap. If those four are not killed, then I will take Elentear for myself. And dude, the shot where she like manipulates Ferris and like gives off like the death stare, like if you don't do this, like the evil sadistic death stare look, okay? It's like then I will take Elentear for myself. Like she really giving off that dominating presence to Ferris, and Ferris is just like, like it really puts Ferris in like a tight corner, okay, a really rough situation. And I said this on on a post I made earlier, but I felt bad for Toka. Okay, okay, I felt really bad for Ferris. Okay, I really did because I was just like, shit. Like, okay, yeah, like what she did wasn't exactly right, but when you get the context of what happened, it's like, well, shit. Oh my god. And considering the fact that, you know, this was all under Selene's orders, by the way. She did this under Selene. And number two, being worshipped as a white mage, which we're about to get into here, by the way. Like, you really see the sweat coming down on Ferris. And she's like, you can see my magic, can you not? And she's like, yeah, but then you see there's no way you can refuse me. With such power, surely you can do it yourself. And Selene says, I might manage to kill one of them, but then again, I might die in the attempt. Our powers are all but equal. I need your strength to gain a divisive edge. And this is where Ferris starts explaining. That was when I stole Toka's body and came to Earthland. First, I took control of the white magic cult. I absorbed, and this would explain, why Toka's persona, persona became the way it was. Like once we got the whole revelation of, you know, Ferris and Toka being two separate entities. Why she kind of was, like mad with power initially. Because she says, I absorbed too much of the believer's faith in the creed, and it drove me mad. And Lucy kind of puts two and two together. So that's what happened. Selene's plan was to first overcome Alderaan by force, then use Wida to control it and leverage its power to fight the other dragons. And Wendy says, so you wanted to control Alderaan? Yes, but as you know, I failed. I smashed all the orbs just as Selene instructed. She told me that would rob Alderaan of its powers, and Happy's like, but it only brought him back to life. So Selene lied, but why? That's what Carla says. And again, Ferris is like really shaken and like just like putting her arms around herself. She's like, I don't know, but I was completely deceived. And Lucy, using her thinking caps, says, okay, so Selene said the other dragons were in her way and told you to wipe them out. But then you tried to do that to Alderaan, and it actually made it more powerful. And Natsu's just like, what's this chick Selene trying to do anyway? And Lucy's just like, chick? well, no way to tell is what Urza says. And Gray's like, and you're scared stiff that Selene's gonna smash Elentear? To which Toka says, can't you talk to her? And the plan didn't work, but for all intents and purposes, Alderaan was defeated. And then you hear a voice in the corner, okay? It says, I'm afraid not. And you see the aqua arrow like ring like form around like the sky. And Selene is there. She's like, Alderaan and sweet little Aldo never really meant anything to me. And that catches everyone off guard. Catches Lucy off guard, Urza, Wendy, Gray, Natsu, and Ferris is just like, Selene. They're like, that's her? A hole in the sky. It can't be. The anima? That's what Edolas Wendy says. And Toka says, it's Aqua Era. Well, what's going on? Tell me. That's what Ferris asked Selene. Elentear has grown on me. I think I'm going to make it my home. And you see, dude, like the chills that are on Ferris. Okay, the sweat that's falling down. She's like, I was afraid this was gonna happen. I can't believe this. I'll kill its people a bit at a time, a few each day. That'll solve your magic problem. Well, wouldn't that be nice? And she's like, but Alderaan, why? Oh, why is that having Alderaan run around with, living up that boring old Earthland a little? And, Ferris says, so you knew it would revive Alderaan? Well, sure. I didn't think it immediately get taken out, though. It'd grown weak, I suppose. And Natsu looking frustrated. She's like, you. Oh, I'm hopeless. I need a world to be distorted and hideous. To be distorted and hideous. Elentear's perfect. All kinds of things to twist and deform. And Ferris is just begging. She's like, please stop. Oh, I love just imagining all the ways I'll tear that place apart. Stop. Please don't destroy our world. And the second she pleads, like, Selene, blasts a hole through Ferris. And she's like, what? Your world was broken long ago. And, Wendy rushes over to Ferris. And Natsu, without hesitation's worth, rushes straight towards Selene and says, screw you. To which Lucy says, like, Natsu. Ah, Igneal's son, the one who defeated Alderaan. Ignea's brother, yes? And, clashes fists with Natsu, says, you're special. I'll play with you. I'll play with for just a little bit. And from there, Selene transforms into her dragon form. And Lucy points that out too. She's like, she turned into a dragon. What's happening? Why is it so dark? Like, it really shifts from daylight to nighttime. It's suddenly night. Like, welcome to Elentear. What's going on? The moon, it's coming closer, but that's not possible. What the hell? And basically teleports everybody. Okay? Like, Edolas Wendy is like just kind of confused. Like, huh? First it was nighttime, now it's the middle of the day, and everyone is gone? They'll be fine. I'm sure they will. Give them hell, little me. To which we jump over to, our Wendy's perspective. She's on a cloud. Graves like, wait, what happened? Relocation magic. That's what Toka says. And Wendy jumps over to Ferris and, notices that, she's, still injured. Whew. And missed her vitals. And Natsu off the gate is like, hey, where's Selene? Looks like she's not here, is what Lucy says. Whoa, are we on clouds? Well, what's going on? That's between Happy and Carla. And Ferris says, this is Elentear. Now, I will be honest here. When Elentear, when they first got to Elentear, I always kind of envisioned Elentear to be like having like a purple sky aesthetic. Like that's the kind of vibe I thought that I kind of viewed Elentear when it came to daytime. I thought, okay, it's gonna have a very purple like color vibe to it when it came to the color scheme. But instead it was kind of very like like lime greenish, which is fine. I was just like, wow. Okay, so we're going with the light green aesthetic. But you notice whenever Selene did turn into, the dragon, the moon dragon, it did become nighttime. And the, background itself, the sky did, become like purple. So in a sense, you do kind of get that, you know? But, you cut over to the edge of the mountains, and it is actually nighttime over there. So you do kind of get that aesthetic to a degree. And Celine's like, now let's play Dragon Son. And that cuts over, that actually ends off chapter 68. Um, which also is also like the end of the second third of the episode. So going from there, the last third, chapter 69, is titled The Hand. Okay? And you see this. Varys is healed up, and she's like, "Thank you very much. Like, I'm all right now. That's incredible healing magic you have." And and Wendy says like, "But don't move yet, huh? The wound's already closed. It can't be." And she's like, "This is Elentear." That's what Varys says. Varys is in my world, and Gray's like, "We're up above the clouds," and Natsu's like, "Can you really ride on those? This is one of our islands." Islands, what Wendy says. Carla says it's like a fairy tale, but it's so fluffy and it feels so good. Like Lucy and Urza are like just having the time of their life. They're just like chilling on the cloud, and Urza's like, "I could just drift off to sleep," and Happy says, "I." So this is a vehicle, and not to Natsu's dismay, he's like pretty much like boy's about to throw up big time. And Lucy says, "All right, we have to find Selene. You defeat her for me," is what Varys says. And Urza says, "Not for you. We can't forgive her what you did to our guild, but we're professionals. We're going to set our personal feelings aside and take down Selene. Because that's the job we said we'd do." And obviously, Varys is feeling guilt. She is feeling like some mad, mad guilt over her actions that she did. And she says, like, "Well, yeah, of course. I get that." And as soon as this happens, okay, Irene just like teleports, okay, like pops up behind Wendy. It's like, "Well, now, what a heroic pronouncement." And Urza looks over and she's like, "Hey, did you say something, Wendy?" "Oh, no, 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 nothing. Sorry. There's so much magic here that I just unconsciously awoke." And Wendy's just like, "Man, I thought that healing went awfully fast." It did help me though. To which Irene says, "Don't worry, I'll fall asleep again soon. But be careful, Wendy. The magic in this world is abnormal. So we're gonna find Selene, but how?" is what Gray asks. And Toka says, "Let's go to my hometown. We have a fantastic information network." And that gets Ferris relief. She's like, "Toka." And obviously, Toka's not exactly all like, up in arms with Ferris right now either, because she's like, "I'm not doing this for you either. I just want to help everyone from Fairy Tale." And of course, my dear Happy. And look, Happy's having the time of his life, okay? Happy, I said this earlier. He's like, "I have two girlfriends, okay?" Now, Carla ain't exactly looking too happy about this. She's like annoyed as shit right now. She's like, like he's enjoying himself, and deep down, I want that cat too, but I don't want to admit it. Like that's the look that she has, and you hear a bit of a rumbling, and she's like, "What was that? It came down from the ocean." That is when you have this big giant, I'm not even joking here, big, massive, giant hand pop up from the ocean. And Grace's like, wait, what? What the heck is that? A hand? Is what Urza says. And Lucy's like, it's huge. That's. And this part, okay, it cracked me up in the manga. And I'm going to be honest here right now. It cracked me up here too. Toka's like, a hand. And Ferris is like, yes, a hand. And Gray's like, yeah, we got that much. But why is it gigantic and coming out of the ocean? That's what Nods is saying. And Ferris says, do you not have living do you not have living hands in Earthland? And Gray's like, of course not. Like, that's crazy talk. Why would we have living hands in Earthland? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. And Lucy's like, but what in the world? That thing's weird. Please don't worry. Hands don't hurt. And Toga's like, no, but look, there's some kind of pattern on it. Well, what is that? I thought it was a like. I love how Ferris looks over at Gray like, wait, what is it then? And Gray's like, I thought it was a hand. And Toga says, I've never seen one like this before. And the hand like centers the attention off to everyone. Okay, they're like, hey, it's gonna grab us. Like they're freaking out. It's the giant hand, and it grabs them and just throws them. Okay, like separating everyone. Lucy, Urza, Gray, Natsu, like they're all separated. They're like, shoot, we're all on different clouds. Damn it. Carla, pull everyone back. I can't. The wind is too strong. And like while everyone was kind of pulled off into separate directions, on one instance, Natsu and Gray are stuck together, as well as Happy. And Gray's like, wait, what the hell? Snow, and he looks over straight to Gray. He's like, well, what did you do to us? And Gray's like, I didn't make the snow fall. Wait, fall? And he realizes, wait, the snow's not falling down. It's going up. I guess you wouldn't call that falling. Whoa, you're right. It gathers around. And Happy's like, forget the snow. Where's everyone else? Guess we all got separated. Bad news. Getting separated in a world we hardly know. And Natsu says, like, I can't smell anything either. Whatever, we have to find the others. To which we cut over to the edges of the forest. And Lucy's like, guys, where are you? I'm gonna get in trouble stuck here by myself. And you have a tree, by the way. Like, wide-eyed and everything, and Lucy's getting the creeps, like, like, she is, like, terrified as shit. And to be fair, if I was in Lucy's position right now, and I was all by myself stuck in a world like this, I'd be freaked out too. I'd be massively freaked out. Well, what do? I left my keys behind. Without my star spear magic, like all I can do is somebody help me. And as soon as that happens, Taurus pops up. And he says, moo! I was waiting to hear those words. Okay, he doesn't say it like that. But he says, I was waiting to hear those words. And he's like, wait, what? Taurus? He's like, nice outfit, Lucy. Very nice. But I don't have my keys. And Taurus says, chalk it up to the magic in this world, I guess. And she's like, but Elentear, it's incredible. And we cut over to another part of Elentear with Urza and Wendy. And they're like, where are we? Looks like it's some kind of town. Yeah, with weird buildings. So Carla's with them too. So yeah, Lucy's like the only one who's like just by herself. Which, I mean, I do feel bad. I really, really do. It does suck to have Lucy being by herself. But she's got Taurus with her. So she's not totally alone, if we want to be 100% accurate here. I don't sense anyone here. But then all of a sudden, there's that sensation, and Ursa's like, wait, who's there? What are those? They're not people or monster. And Carl is just like, wait, the magic, it's moving? And so you have like these weird like spatial figures like just moving in closer to them. And Earth is like, here they come. We're in for a fight, Wendy. And she says, right. Those are the humans Selene's brought. Now show me, my dears, show me whether you're fit to be Selene's toys. And this is where we get the reveal. It's one of the Moonlight Divinities, and her name is Yoko. And that's kind of where we end off both chapter 69 and the episode. So, number one, this episode, what we cover, okay? We cover so much in this episode, okay? We get the plot moving forward, which is great. It's amazing. Number two, we finally get answers on Ferris, the White Mage. We come to find out that she was not the White Mage this whole time. She was okay. We already knew that she was manipulated, that she was given the task by Selene, but to now know that Selene, manipulated her and forced it into the situation, that says so much. It says so much that all this time Ferris, was swayed into doing more so coerced. She was coerced into doing something she didn't want to do, and she knew it was very wrong. It was something that should not have happened, and you know, obviously, we do kind of get an answer as to why she went mad with power, and a lot of it did dwell down to the followers of Rebellious, that guild being there, and mess with their head, and having all those followers believe, it drove her insane, and getting stuff like that, I think really spoke so much. Number two, we need to give it to Nana Mizuki, okay? The way she, portrayed Selene, really, we get little glimpses of what she was able to do as Selene, in the earlier episodes, but now she's front and center, okay? As Selene, we see how she's able to deliver the dialogue, how she's able to really give off that menacing, bone chilling, fear inducing presence. Selene in this moment, when it came to the manga, I had already gotten chills, but dog, listen, adding Nana Mizuki's voice and seeing the performance that she was able to do, it spoke volumes, okay? It spoke mad volumes as to what she was able to give to Selene. And oh my god, is it crazy? It is so, so crazy to see where we are with that. Number two, okay, well, we talked about Toka, we talked about Ferris, we got that whole revelation out of the way. Moving the plot forward in a big way, getting the confrontation with Selene, that was obviously cut off for obvious reasons. And we're in Elentear now, okay? And listen, I am a manga reader. Y'all know this. So I know the events that are to come. I'm not gonna spoil what occurs in those events. But in the terms of shipping, because I talked about that briefly. There is one moment for Nalu that could actually be covered within the next 5 episodes. It really depends. If we go at the pacing that we've been going with the anime so far, between last episode, is the last episode or last couple episodes? Let me see. Episode 19. Where did episode 18? Okay, so if we go the same pace as episode 19 and with this episode 20, we go 3 chapters an episode. Let me just tell you this right now. If we cover 3 chapters for episode 21, which will be next week, that'll wrap up volume 8. Okay, that'll be the wrap up of volume 8. And would leave us with 4 episodes after assuming episode 25 is the end off point for season 1. So if we take that into account, like, let me see here real quick. Okay, so I mean, yeah, like, well, actually, no. It depends. It depends on how much they're able to adapt. Okay, because I did think for a moment maybe they could wrap up this arc within the next like 5 episodes. Because like if you go by that aspect, like from a manga reader's perspective, like within the next 5 episodes, like is that enough time to wrap up Elentear? And I will say that it could be a possibility. It could be a huge possibility. Like 21, I'm pretty confident that we will wrap up volume 8. I really do. But think about it like this. Okay? Elentear wraps up in, or I should say the Moondragon God arc, I'll say this, like wraps up within like volume 10. Okay, like that's where we end off this arc. Like this arc will end on volume 10. So to really put that into perspective, that's like another 18 chapters after episode 21. And like I said, so far, if we go the same pace in 3 episodes or 3 chapters per episode, I mean that'd be 15. So the only other way you could do this is say do 4. I mean 4 chapters would be kind of insane though, wouldn't it? It's not impossible to cover 4 chapters an episode, but like you have to really like like do a like really like fast blitz pacing between now and then to like really wrap up the arc. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really, really interesting to seeing, you know, what we get between now and the final episode of season 1. Because right now, I'm gonna just say this, guys. We are in the home stretch of wrapping up Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest season 1. Okay? Like these next like 4 or 5 weeks, that's all we have left of season 1. And man, like it I still find that crazy, honestly. I find that so crazy that, we're now 20 weeks in and season 1's gonna be ending soon. Like that is nuts to even imagine. But regardless of that, my overall thoughts on episode 20, I'm gonna go ahead and give it an amazing. It's an amazing episode of 100 Years Quest. You do get a lot of stuff, a lot of revelations with Ferris. Her whole situation, how she got entangled with Selene, how she was forced into the situation that she was forced into. Getting Selene off the bat, obviously. Setting that whole thing up. Going into Elentear. Okay, the OST, the voice acting, all of it, top notch, amazing. And I'm just saying, I'm gonna say this right now. We're only scratching the surface. We're only scratching the surface of this arc. Next week, we're gonna see where things lead. We're gonna see where it all leads us. But overall, that is pretty much all I have to say when it comes to this live stream discussion / review on Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest episode 20. Let me know what you guys thought from this episode. Did you guys have any gripes with the episode? Did you guys have anything you loved about the episode? What was your favorite part about the episode? And for manga readers out there, do y'all believe we will wrap up Elentear within, like, say, the next, 5 episodes? Y'all think that's a possibility? And to say from the guys, that's pretty much it. I'm LuckyRave. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Fairy Tail content. Hiro Mashima content. And I will catch you guys on the flip side. Laters.